Hello, this is John. Talking about the preseason top 25 for college football. That's really my favorite sport, so I think I'm going to do a rundown of it right now. At number one in the preseason, you have Alabama once again. They're undefeated last year and national champions. I think they lost their quarterback, but and Devontae Smith. But they're always good, and Nick Saban has the rings to prove that. Clemson, number two. And Trevor Lawrence is going to the NFL. So what I think should happen is that they'll have a competition at quarterback, and they will have plenty of skilled players coming back, but I don't know the full background on this. I'm just looking at the rankings to see what I think should be the right thing for each team. Oklahoma's number three, and they're the first team in the Big 12 to show up. They had a good year last year. They beat, I think it was A&M. No, okay, so they're 9-2 in 2020. Number 6 in the final AP poll. And they're expecting improvement from some players. But what I'm worried about is Georgia at number 4 in the preseason top 25. They play Clemson, who is number 2. So that'll be one of the better games of the regular season. And it won't necessarily affect them if they lose. But I think if they get that attitude and mentality, they might not have their best season. So Georgia will have improvement and sustainability at running back, and JT Daniels will be the starter most likely going into that Clemson game. I really just know the most about Georgia, so I don't even know that much about Georgia. I should stick with medicine, I guess, but I'm doing a fun video. I'm a little bored here in COVID times. Iowa State at number 5, 9-3 in 2020. Well, it looks like they're expecting a lot. They're a Big 12 team, I think, and that puts 2 Big 12 teams and 2 SEC teams in the top 20 in the top 5. But expect to see maybe a team like that to surprise some people. I think Georgia will be good though, and if they beat Clemson, they will have a good season. Whether they play, I don't think they have Alabama on the schedule until maybe the SEC championship. But you never know. I mean, with transfers and stuff like that, any team can really have a good season. I was thinking about LSU in terms of that. With their Heisman winner they got a couple of years ago. So number 6, Ohio State. Justin Fields is not returning. He used to play for Georgia, so holler at him. But he is going to the NFL, and I think people are pairing him off with the Jets was one team I saw him going towards. But he is going to be gone for Ohio State, so they probably will reload. Expect a full schedule for them as COVID restrictions go off. And what I'm really hoping for is a lot of full stadiums, a lot of crazy atmospheres. I'm not going to be necessarily doing that. Maybe I'll go to an Astros game this year. But we'll have to see about that in terms of what time in the year is good or what game is good. There's a lot to do in Houston, by the way. If you are from Georgia or another one of these schools and you haven't been to Houston, I recommend at least visiting it. Not really a whole lot to do here except the nightlife and the good food. But in terms of being an economic choice, it's probably pretty good. Texas A&M at number 7, another SEC team in the top 10. They were 9-1 in 2020. Very good team. So I guess it was Florida that lost to Oklahoma. I have to get a better memory, of course, but I don't pay attention to this stuff like I used to. You know, I considered myself a broadcaster at one point for sports and stuff was what I was gauging myself for, but now I'm in medicine and I actually quite like it a bit. So Texas A&M, number 4 in AP poll, and final AP poll last year, but they've gone down in terms of the preseason poll. Not sure what their schedule looks like. Probably pretty tough because it's the SEC, but they're in the West, so that's especially tough with LSU, Mississippi State, Alabama, and all those people. Auburn. Georgia plays Auburn every year, but I don't know. They're not up in these rankings, so I don't think that'll be necessarily a tough game unless they have a guy that shows up really good. Number 8, Cincinnati. Nine and 1 in 2020, number 8 in final AP poll. They're a good team. I saw most of that game with Georgia in the Peach Bowl, I think it was, and I really think if I had to put my money on a team that was in a lower conference, not a lower conference, I'm not even sure what conference they're in, Big Ten or ACC. This shows how much I know about football. But I'm trying to have some fun. Cincinnati looks pretty good at number 8 of a team that could crawl up there in the playoff. I think they were undefeated going into the playoff selection committee, but they didn't make it. So my understanding is because of schedule, they probably don't have the toughest schedule. And SEC tends to get at least one team every year because a one-loss SEC team is like an undefeated conference team from another conference, I mean. But they lost to Georgia, and that was one of Georgia's big wins. So I think they can show some good speed and determination on the field. Obviously, it's about strategy as well, but I played football. I played at Memorial High School. Not a huge contributor. I touched the ball a few times, which is, now that I think about that, that's pretty good. But I didn't have any long gains, probably about 5 yards. So that shows. I mean, I'm not a strong guy. That's why I work in scientific stuff and medicine. So I'm going to do the top 10, not the top 25, because I'm thinking people are probably, if they're watching this, pretty annoyed at me. Indiana 6-2, 2020, number 12 in final AP poll. So I think that's a Big Ten school, and Ohio State's a Big Ten school. It looks like they're having a resurgence, but it's not Michigan that we're talking about. And that makes me wonder about recruiting and all that. I wonder if you're out there recruiting kids for athletics and academics and stuff, what it really means to turn someone on to the school you're talking about. But I talked. I don't know if I talked to the kid right, like straight up, but Matthew Bolin is a great kid that I was recruiting at the school he went to, and he got one of the sixth fastest time for the 200 in the NCAA's all time, and won a national title in the 200. He looked good. I've seen videos of him running against Georgia players in football, but it's good to make a difference. I would love to go back to Georgia if I had the opportunity, but I might not be able to do that. It just depends on what opportunity I think I can get. I mean, I'm just a normal guy. I looking for an opportunity in a lot of places, so I think there's some schools that wouldn't look at me. U of H probably may take me. I don't know. My grade point average wasn't that great either. I think I had enough. They said I had a good enough grade point average to go to graduate school, but it just depended on what program and where. And really, studies have gotten harder for me. I learn based on interactions, and that's experience and professionalism. But in terms of like legal and theories that are proven that become law basically when you use them, I'm just wondering what I'm gonna do. So I'm looking at an MBA, but I think a law degree is also good. And I don't do well with stress. I really don't. I think Iowa at 10, 6-2 in 2020. I think it's hard to gauge these schools currently based on. I don't know if this is based on recruiting, or if they really are just basing it on legacy, coaches. It's a huge assumption that any of these schools would truly be doing that well in football. But Georgia, I think, will be near the top 10 at the end of the year. Hopefully number 1 in terms of what I want. But it's not up to me. It's not my life that's on the line. It's just fun to have bragging rights. I know those other schools that are ahead of us right now in the preseason polls are actually very good. And I get on Alabama. A lot of those people are very nice to me. I'm jealous. Honestly, I'm just jealous that they do so well in that. I do well in other situations. I want to be someone's role model or improve myself somehow. I lost a lot of weight. I keep talking about that, but I think anybody can do it if they just give up a few things and start moving their body a little bit. And it happens either pretty fast, like a couple months or a couple years. And it also depends on what you got to lose. So I'm happy. I think, and just as an extra one in there because I like this school a lot and I see them on the screen. North Carolina is a preseason number 11 in football. They were number 18 last year in the final, so that means people think they're going to make a big jump. And that goes either way. So let's just say Gabe Hyatt, my friend from childhood, I'm cheering for you. I know you're a great journalist and stuff nowadays. I'm trying to do a little bit of that on the side. And for my buddies at Georgia, if I go to Georgia, we'll see about some games or watch parties or going to games. And it says on this writing from NCAA's website, I think this is NCAA, yep, NCAA's website. There's also pressure on Georgia or UGA to finally beat Bama. I think there is pressure always. If this is your life, like, if you could go out there and injure your knee and you only get 1 or 2 seasons out of the whole college football, or you get 4 years or 2 years and you show up, there's a lot of ways that it could be pressurizing. But in terms of Georgia should not worry about beating Alabama. Kirby Smart will provide all the help you need. You'll have the best athletes. You guys will study hard, and that's my hope. So I'm looking forward to college football already. I kind of wish I could have made a team, but I would have had. I don't think I can even make an FCS team or a lower. Even some of those guys go pro in the NFL, and I did security in the NFL, but once again, I'm not a big guy. I'm just kind of good at seeing stuff, and that's it. I mean. Georgia Clemson, mark your calendar. That's going to be a historical game, I hope. I think it'll be a good game. I think Deshaun Watson will be aware of that game, and he's a great quarterback here in Houston, so that's another reason why. He might not stay here, but it's not up to me necessarily. I don't have. I have a gift with people, apparently. I can turn people on. I can turn people off, too, though. And I've worked with people from all sorts of backgrounds. And the reason why I think they say to finally beat Bama is because, I don't know. We beat Alabama before. They have all those titles because of Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. I know the history. They have the numbers. So we have Herschel Walker, though, and he's a great man, and I hope he does well on his run for Congress if that's what he wants to do or if that's what he's doing. He's got that endorsement from Trump. So things have calmed down for me. I need to work harder, though. I got a big project done out of the way today, and that's why we keep working at it. Thanks.